The iPhone. It's a product known by almost everyone around the world. You see the logo everywhere, and the apple is a glowing reminder of the power of the company. The iPhone is a worldwide phenomenon and a household name. But how is it so successful? A primary tool that Apple uses to sell its iPhone is its brand. At the time of a new release, there are always people talking about the new phone and countless articles being written about it.
Apple's been around forever. I mean, as a child, I had iPad, iPhone. My mom had an iPhone when I was 3, so I guess I just became familiar with it like something in my house.
The second way Apple sells their products are through their advertisements, which usually run on national TV. In 2015, Apple spent $1.8 billion on advertising just to push their brand. One of its main advertising campaigns is called Shot on iPhone, which highlights the portrait features of the new phone by showing beautiful photographs. In the background, you hear Muhammad Ali talking about how he is the greatest, and it sounds very poetic. While this ad may be very artistic, it doesn't really show why anyone should buy the phone, but just appeals to our emotional sense of beauty and even diversity. Neil Postman, author of Amusing Ourselves to Death, shows how these ads are effective when he says even commercials are exquisitely crafted, always pleasing to the eye and accompanied by exciting music. Companies use these types of ads since they are a form of entertainment, and Postman shows that entertainment is the most effective way to communicate something. Many of Apple's ads are very simplistic, and in this one all we see is many different faces. According to Forbes, simplicity is the key to Apple's marketing success, and it appeals to the average consumer. It also connects with Apple's message, which is that the iPhone is very easy and simple to use, meaning that the target audience is anyone, since they stress that everyone can own an iPhone with the range of people taking the photos. These ads and brand recognition have been very successful, and Apple has been one of the fastest growing companies for many years. Apple not only has a large online presence, but also has countless stores across the country, enabling anyone to buy one of their products. We have one in Eaton, and it is another way that Apple spreads its presence. A big criticism of Apple in the past few months has been the price of their new phone, the iPhone X. The starting price is $1,000, which is Apple's highest starting price ever. They claim that the new phone is revolutionary and is deserving of the price. However, a lot of the features that are revolutionary have been in other phones. A few examples include the screen, the removal of the home button, and wireless charging. All these features are in other phones, yet because of the brand name of the iPhone, millions of people will buy their $1,000 phone. This sheds light on consumerism, because logically it makes little sense to buy the iPhone, but many people do. Paul Mazur clearly articulates the goal of a consumerist culture when he says people must be trained to desire, to want new things even before the old had been entirely consumed. Many people don't need a new phone, but because of the society we live in, people still buy the newest product. Apple is especially good at getting people to buy every generation of their phone, even if there are minimal changes to the design. Every year, Apple releases a new phone that's slightly different, and every year, millions of people buy their phone. The importance and significance of this is asking why. Why, year after year, do people buy the new phone even when the price may be ridiculous or there are very few new features?
Bought the iPhone because everybody else was buying the iPhone at the time, so I just wanted to join in and just buy an iPhone for myself.
Semiotics is a good way of looking at this issue. The Apple logo is an important symbol in our society. Everywhere we look, people are carrying things with this logo, and they are all part of the Apple community. This is a good example of the idea of exclusion versus inclusion. Having something designed by Apple implicitly means that you are part of the upper class. You have something that is desired by millions of people, and you are showing people that you can afford this expensive new phone. Consumerism has taught us that owning material things distinguishes different people, and that's why brands like Gucci and Supreme are so popular. Brands that are associated with being part of the upper class sell for ridiculous prices and incentivize millions of people to make irrational choices. Unfortunately for us, because this mentality is ingrained in us since childhood, it's almost impossible to escape, even if we know the consequences of consumerism. According to James McNeill, who wrote Children as Consumers, it seems clear then that children are turned into consumers at a very early age in our society through the desires and encouragement of parents. Many parents seem to view children's consumer wants as being practically non-existent if it were not for ads. Since ads are easily accessible by children, they constantly want material things, and parents can't and don't really stop this. The consequence of this is that having stuff is considered important, and whoever has better stuff is considered more important and part of a higher class. On the surface, many consumers may say that's not true, but unconsciously they're buying the iPhone to be part of a group that our society favors and admires. The other reason society is based on this idea is because of capitalism. Capitalism means that private companies control what's popular and important, and they chose owning material goods as the most important thing. That's why consumers today are constantly told to buy this and buy that, while we don't really need any of these things. We can see that in the article by Frank Trentman, How Humans Became Consumers, a History, when he says that in 1888, there was a society that was no longer fixated on physical survival, but enjoyed a surplus of wealth. The central question became how Americans spent their money and their time, as well as how much they earned. Since our society didn't need to worry about survival, people started to care more about what they owned. These two things, capitalism and consumerism at a young age, are the reason why so many people buy the new iPhone, to show that they are part of a higher class. This has many consequences, but a major one is that companies like Apple have realized that consumers only care about themselves and how they are perceived, leading companies to only care about their consumers. One example is in the DRC, where Nick Phage writes in Mining the Metal for Your iPhone that miners are paid $5 a day for the dangerous work of digging out the precious minerals that power our smartphones. Apple admits they use the Colton mine in the DRC to make the smartphones that fuel our 24/7 lifestyle. We can see the problematic consequences of our consumer society, yet we continue to buy millions of iPhones. We can see the problem, but sadly there is no solution as witnessed by the iPhone. We know the consequences of making the iPhone and the irrational cost, yet we still buy the phone because of what consumerism has taught us, that having material things is the most important thing.